Hello everyone and welcome to the final video of 2020, and in very 2020 fashion, got some bad news to talk about. Another passing in the racing industry. Just a couple of days ago it was John Paul Jr. and just today the news broke that Aldo Andretti has passed away. And if you don't know who Aldo is, he is Mario Andretti's twin brother and also the father of John Andretti, which is kind of a second stab in the heart for obviously the fans of the Andretti family, as well as I can't even imagine what the Andretti family is going through themselves, because John himself passed away at the beginning of 2020. So kind of bookending the year with tragedy in the Andretti family. Now Aldo unfortunately didn't get to have the racing career that his brother did. That was mainly down to injuries sustained in a crash at Langhorne in the late 60s. But Aldo was always by his brother's side, and apparently had a great relationship with Mario, as you kind of hope for as a brother. And one of my favorite stories about Aldo Andretti is, and if you already are subscribed and saw the community tab, you would have already seen this, but when Mario was burned in 1969, in practice, and then qualified on the front row with a couple-year-old Bronner Hawk, Mario actually declined to appear in the photos because his face was burned. So because Mario and Aldo are identical twins, he just dressed Aldo up like Mario, and Aldo is actually the one in the pictures. And to me, that's like the epitome of brotherly love, even going as far as to stand in for your brother when maybe he's a little self-conscious about his image. And ultimately, that turned out to be the one and only Indy 500 win for Mario Andretti. So I just wonder if there was some sort of a fate thing involved there, that Aldo had something to do with that, just kind of breaking the curse, because he also got in the winning car, the two brothers. But my condolences to the Andretti family, sincerely. A terrible year for them. It certainly puts a lot of things into perspective. And that's one thing I want to do in this video. We've really only got one news item to talk about, and it's pretty quick. The rest of it is just going to kind of be talking about 2020, kind of from my perspective, and just kind of sharing some thoughts on this year of years, I guess you could say, because it's very easy, and I definitely have been at that place where this year definitely can get you down, or having so many things go wrong can really take a toll on somebody. But I do think that the lessons to take away from this year are actually very valuable. So we'll get into that after we talk about the one and only real major news item that came out today, which is that Ware Racing, oh my god, I'm talking about them again, has added Austin Dillon to the driver lineup for their LMP2 effort in with Eurasia Motorsport. That, of course, is going to be, as we currently stand, the only LMP2 entry from the Ligier chassis manufacturer. And Austin Dillon, of course, as a Daytona 500 winner, adds to the growing list suddenly of true NASCAR talent in the Rolex 24, with Jimmy Johnson and Chase Elliott and maybe a couple more to come. And certainly it's interesting that Austin Dillon driving for Ware Racing. That's going to be an interesting driver-car combo. And again, one of the ones that we will definitely focus on when we head down to Florida in a couple of weeks to cover both the Roar and the 24. But now I want to take the opportunity to talk about the year 2020. And in a lot of ways, obviously this was a year that was defined by the pandemic, and pretty much everything post, late March was defined by it. And I was in a very unique position personally. I'm sure as longtime subscribers know, and if you didn't, I was on the ground in St. Petersburg, ready to cover the first IndyCar race of the season. and that's when the shutdowns began, and it was just such a surreal thing to experience. And looking back on it, it was a very fearful time. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you don't know. First of all, you don't know if this virus is going to be something that could, kill you, kill all your family. You worry about things like that, especially because there was so much unknown about it, and you don't know how quick it's going to spread. Was this a bioweapon? Just all these sort of things kind of running through your head. When you're kind of on the front lines, and so far away from home at that point. And then of course you have the other outside things, which is like, oh my God, what's the world going to be like in a year or two? Am I ever going to be at a racetrack again? Is this just going to completely destroy our way of life? And to be fair, in some ways it has. Hopefully that will only be temporary. But there were a lot of things, and I think everybody has the story from this year, which is so much has gone wrong. I mean, again, when I get thinking about the things that went wrong for me, I do definitely consider those who had it much worse this year. And I'm not saying that I had it great this year, and I don't think many people did. And there were a lot of things, some things I told you guys about and some things I didn't. But in a lot of ways, I lost a lot of the things that, I feared to lose, I guess you could say, this year. Particularly like between that March and August time period, man. That was rough. I mean, obviously things I've talked about before. I mean, and it may seem silly to somebody who doesn't experience that, but the Indy 500 is like, Christmas for me. It's that important, and it's not just a race. It's to me a family gathering. It's a way to see loved ones. It's a way to congregate with a lot of like-minded individuals and enjoy something. And the fact that got postponed and eventually run with no fans, I mean, that was tough. And ultimately I did make the most of it, and spent time with family and watched that race in the comfort of our living rooms. But just that's just one example of just something that changed. And at the same time, it was this whole thing has been a life lesson. And I guess if I'm taking one positive thing away from this, it is that because so much has gone wrong, at least again speaking from personal experience here, it makes you appreciate the position you're in life. I think back to March, and I think back to when the pandemic was beginning, and I'm talking to people on the pit lane and in the media center at St. Pete, and we're just completely unsure of the future. And you get here, and there have been so many stupid things that have happened this year. I think about the fact that YouTube didn't pay me for a whole month for virtually no real good reason, and thankfully they have begun paying me again, which is obviously a major plus. But I'm so thankful, and this is kind of where I'm going to get. I'm thankful for the Patreon supporters, those of you who have, whether it was 1 month or whether you've been on since the entire year. You guys helped me so much, and even if you're not a Patreon supporter, if you're a subscriber, those of you who watch me, I mean, you really allow me to have such an amazing job and be able to do such amazing things, even in a year like this. And again, so many of the bad things happened to me, and so many other, not just me, but I mean, so many of the bad things that happened, especially between the months of March and August, they really, it's funny to say it, but it really pissed me off. But it pissed me off, looking in the rearview mirror in a good way. It gave me a lot of motivation, and it forced me to reevaluate a lot of things and say, okay, how can I do this better? Or how can I prevent myself from being as vulnerable as maybe I was to a lot of things that happened or potentially could have happened in 2020 and kind of carry that forward into 2021. So from that perspective, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for all my friends, those who I have met or strengthened relationships with throughout this year, or those of you who have been in my life for as long as decades. My friends and family, as sometimes they do get on your nerves, of course, and certainly for some of us, we've spent a lot of time together this year. But at the same time, I couldn't imagine. And again, so much of the good things in my life are because of this YouTube channel, and so many of the people I've met who have made so many of the bad moments this year bearable were met because of this, and because I was able to do this, and because you guys watch, and I'm just thankful for that. I mean, it's just it's an unbelievable opportunity, and I just think back to points in my life where things were not necessarily globally much worse, but my personal life were much worse than this, and the fact that I do have something where I can put energy, or if I'm feeling down, I can make content, I can create something that people enjoy, I can get paid for, and will help me continue to further my journey in life. And certainly, at least as we stand right now, this is where I want to be. I want to be active in the motorsport community, and I want to continue to help bring this sport to the masses. And I don't know, it's just again, not to just completely repeat myself, but I think that's really my main point here, is that and if you are still having trouble with this year, I can't sit on a because I am in a very I guess privileged position, if you want to use that terminology, but really look at the things that you appreciated before all this happened, and find a way to appreciate the things that you still have, or the things that you're just getting back, or the things that maybe you could pursue or achieve with these restrictions. And I'm not perfect, there's no doubt about it, but that's something I'm really striving to do, and hopefully I can continue in 2021, is just be able to self-motivate, and kind of not allow other people to really influence my productivity or my mood, just kind of I guess my whole pursuit in life, particularly why I'm on YouTube, is because it's really important for me to be independent as I can be. So I guess that's something that I'll continue to strive for in 2021, to continue to be as independent as possible, and hopefully continue to provide good content for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed this rant or gotten something out of it. I just feel like I just wanted to talk about that for a little while, and just kind of be open. And again, I kind of mentioned in the Q&A video yesterday some of my goals for 21. Again, things are going to be things are going to be dumb for a while. There's no doubt about it. But I think we'll get through it, and I think we're going to have good times ahead. And hopefully, in some ways, I the content I produce can hopefully, if not take your mind off things completely, at least remind you that there's some entertainment out there. There's good things coming, and hopefully, this is a place where you can get away as best you can from some of the ugliness of life. Maybe that's too deep, but I don't know. So that is the end of 2020. Good riddance. Hopefully 21 is better, and even if it's not, we're going to make it a damn good year. And the forces standing in our way of that be damned. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in 2021, and subscribe for more motorsport content.